Hey Flosstube, it's Lori of Mischievous Stitches. I want to welcome all of you to my channel today. I have several things to share. I have a finish, I have progress on my works in progress, and I brought down a basket of WIPs from a couple years ago, and I thought I'd go through that and pull out anything I want to work to finish on this year because I had that finished today, and now I have a boost of desire to finish everything or actually stitch everything, not fully finished, but just finish everything. And I want to go through this basket and thought y'all might enjoy going through it with me. So let's get started with everything from this week. So the past 2 weekends, one weekend I went over, last weekend I was going to show this one piece because I forgot to show it the prior week when I went over my finishes and projects from 2024. Well, I talked about it in my last video and I still didn't show it. So this is one of my WIPs from 2024. I started it after a trip to a local needlework shop with my giggles, and we purchased this Teresa Kogut Hello Spring booklet. And it has several beautiful designs in it, and we all decided, or at least 3 of us. I don't think April was gonna do this one, but it's Cottage Bouquet. And I have a small start to share. So again, this was last year, and we did sub some of the colors. They're Weeks and Classic Color Works. They're still in the little, in the bag. I didn't even put them on a ring. And this is my small start on that. It's so sweet. It's a sweet design. It's actually the one on the cover. So you can see my start is small. So I threw this in my current year's basket. And it's actually a stitch bag. And I thought, well, I'll keep all my current projects in one of my larger stitch bags. And then when I tend to stitch or I tend to retreat, I just sling that bag over my shoulder and I have everything that I want to work on. And it is pretty full, and I have been really active the past month thanks to retreat and finishing things, and it feels really good. Hold on just a second. Okay. There's a little notebook in there that was keeping me from zipping it. So this has been nested in that stitch bag as well. And then what I've worked on this week is every day I've tried to put work into my red sampler. And I don't know whether, well, let me share with you the cover. I think I've covered the cover up with the pages I'm working on, and I did. And it's black and white. I printed it off, but this is the Bristol Squirrel sampler. And I'm still up in this place here, this area here, so in the top quarter of the pattern. And I'm working over to that squirrel, and I got some really good progress this week. I had a couple of really late nights at work, and I didn't get as much progress on it as I wanted, but progress is the way I look at it. And this time, this video, I'm gonna share it with you front forward. But here I am. So I worked over on the right hand side of this, and I actually finished the second. This is working into a different page. I finished the second line of letters on that page, the 3rd line beneath it, and the 4th line, and started on the 5th line, which I think is numbers. Nope, I finished the numbers and worked down to the 4th line, which is a smaller case of uppercase letters. So I'm very happy with my progress. So a couple of years ago, I really got into the red samplers, and I kept saying I'm gonna do one red thread before bed. And that was just a prompt for me because I knew if I sat down to do one, chances are that I would do 2 or 3. Or, I would make a goal to finish a letter, and that's what I would do. And this time, I'm just going with the flow. I'm gonna put this one down this week. I doubt I will work on it, but it feels good. I'm just letting my drive of stitching pull me towards what I want to stitch on. I don't have really a rotation per se because I'm just going where my desire to stitch leads me. So I'm happy with my progress on this. I'm even a little closer. So in the corner of what I've stitched there is shortly I'll be beginning the tail of the squirrel. And again, just so excited to be doing that, be at that part. And I'm stitching this one in hand. I find that easier, and I did send a picture, the group of ladies that I'm stitching this with. Let me show you that part. It's telling them this line of letters, no, I'm sorry, the line of numbers, look how wonky, I think it's the 0 and the 8. Like the 8 drops below the others and the 0 is above the top portion of the other. So it's a little wonky, and it was making my eye twitch. Just like, I know it's a reproduction sampler, but I really wanted to correct this girl's mistakes, but I wouldn't do it. So I was talking to them about it, but I noticed that the 6 I had went over with either, it didn't matter whether it was the first or the second leg of a couple of the crosses. I grabbed a 3rd thread, so I'm gonna have to pull that, when I pick it up again, I'm gonna have to pull that out, and I'm okay with that, but it just made me laugh because I'm like, who's been stitching on my piece? I would never make mistakes like that. But I was just laughing at myself. So, and this week as well, I continue to work on my piece that I'm stitching along with my friend Teresa. And this is Bluebirds and Bluebells. And I've stitched part of the border, the top left border twice, ripped it out twice. So 3rd time's the charm. So I did get some progress this week, and I'm happy with it. Got a little stubborn with it. Was telling myself when I sat down this, because we stitch on Tuesdays, we check in with each other before and after we start stitching, and I just was not gonna let this piece defeat me, and I didn't. So I did get all the way across with the vine, and I didn't have to rip out as much this time. I think I had to rip out all the way back to this one with the vine, and because I was off by 1 stitch in this top portion, and I put it all back in. So this is the right corner. I wanted to find the right corner. And then I went back in and started putting some of the stem of the flowers in. I think I had 3 maybe flowers, and now I have, what is that, 2, 5, 6. So I did get good progress. And again, this is Bluebirds and Bluebells. And this is a piece of 32 count Dove by Millennium Fabrics. I picked this one up at Retreat back in February, and I just really love this Dove fabric. I actually brought an extra piece home for the next piece, but again, so this week I think I'm gonna work on those flowers going across the top, and maybe put some vine in going down, and not get caught up in working the vine in the border, and just start moving into the interior of the piece and putting in some of the motifs. I think the first one that starts here is a row of large and small hearts, and I think I'm gonna work on that this week, because if I have to rip that vine out one more time. So my goal for this year was to empty the bags. And I finally emptied a bag. So this is 1 bag down, and I'm gonna keep track of it. I know that seems silly, but I have one of the cube storage boxes. I have one that I'm gonna stick all my empty bags, and I may just reward myself next year by kitting up some things to put in these bags, these empty bags, as I go. At the beginning of the year, I don't know, I'll think on that, but for right now, I'm gonna empty bags. And this is my first empty Steno Stitches bag. and this is what was housed inside. So this is Shannon Christine Christmas Manor, and I worked really hard last night. I stitched in white all day yesterday and all week to finish this border down here. I left the colored bits, which I had only a portion of the potted flower here. I had only some of the leaves, some of the flowers. I had the deer, and that was it. And so I said, I'm gonna do 2 or 3 white threads, and then I'll reward myself with some color. And it paid off, so let's see. Here's my piece. Ah, ta-da! I really love this piece, and I can't wait to display it at Christmas. Do I have it backwards? No, I don't have it backwards, sorry. I don't have my glasses on, So I did end up using, I went into town yesterday. We had to grab some groceries, and I went ahead and dropped by Hobby Lobby because of all the colors. I used all my B5200, which is the white, the bright white. It called for it. So I used a full skein that I bought when I kitted the piece. And then I had 2 partial bobbins left up in my stash. I used both of those. And so I said, I want to get another skein just in case. And I ended up not needing it. So I hadn't completely stitched through the second of those spare bobbins. And I ended up having 1 length left. So if you plan on kitting this up, I recommend you get 3, because I'm a thread miser, and if you are not, 2 may not do you. And I don't know specifically how much was left on both of those bobbins. I know one was pretty full, the other one was a lot lower, so maybe half. So I would say at least 3 skeins to be safe. But I'm loving this piece. I love the play of colors. I come close to leaving the white pattern off the bottom. I know it's supposed to be the yard, a snow-covered yard, and I could have given, I was unsure of whether I wanted to go through stitching the bottom portion, because I find that white stitches do not lay correctly, and the bottom part is, hold on just a second. Yeah, the bottom part does not, to me, add or subtract, but at the same time, I'm glad I stitched it. I loved watching the pattern develop as I stitched through it. I enjoyed that part. And there is a pattern, and it matches all the way across, so you're gonna end on the same part of the pattern as you do at the start. You know what I mean? So there's no sneaky stitches in there where it's missing something, a compensation stitch or anything like that. So that made it easier to stitch. But overall, I really enjoyed this piece. I like the negative space around the bricks in the house, so it allows the fabric to play from behind. I love everything about the door. It's actually 2 different shades. I think it's 326 and 325 maybe. So it's bright pinks. There's also a little wreath on the door and on the top of the house. Just so many little elements that I like about it, and I'm so glad it's finished. And thanks for cheering me on. Y'all are my cheerleaders out there, and I'm just really happy. And it feels really great to have a big finish. I finished a lot of smaller things last year, stitching a lot for my grandchildren, which I will do again this year as well, but it feels really good to have a finish. And now I'm wanting to stitch everything, which can be both good and bad, because I don't want to overwhelm myself, but I want to keep stitching. So I think if I continue to do what I'm doing, which is just letting my desire to stitch draw me to the piece, and stitching on it however long I want to, and not pressuring myself. That is a word. I don't want to pressure myself anyway, because there's a lot of pressure in the everyday, and I don't want to bring it to my stitching. So with that finished last night, what I decided to do was pick up another that I have shared with you guys recently. I picked this up at a trunk show during retreat at Barefoot Needle Arts last month, and this is the Artsy Housewife, A Study in Nature. I was allowing myself to buy one thing and kit it up, and I failed at that, but I came home with this one as well as a couple of others. I just really love it. This is not the one. Once I took a look online before retreat and said, okay, which one am I gonna pick out, and how am I gonna use DMC? I was just making plans on what I wanted to purchase when I got there, and this was not it. But when I saw the shop model, I had to have it. I did not use the call for fabric. My call for fabric, I think, is Pebble by Atomic Ranch. But let me share it to you. Share it to you. Yeah, share it to you. Let me get do I have my, yeah, I put them in the back of this. I want to make sure I give you the right fabric. And the tag is inside the back of this. It's Copper Penny, so I did tell you wrong. Copper Penny by Rogue Fabrics. And I did get a 32 count linen, and it is a fat quarter. And my plan is to stitch these flowers and leave those flowers off, but I've started on this side. And this is where I'm at. So since I finished Christmas Manor last night, I decided to pick up this one this morning. And so this morning, I worked in this part of the wing, so I didn't get a lot of progress, but the day is still young. And my needle minder is from North Meet South this past year, where I attended North Meet South in DC, which was an amazing, but I did not stitch. But back to this one, I kitted it up at retreat, and I'm using the call for DMCs. Now, I think the listing is for some of the specialty threads, and I wanted to go with my DMCs because I wanted the fabric to talk. And I love her colors. Love her colors. Deep, rich. Deep, rich shades. And I'm loving it. Browns, greens, yellows, love it. So I'm gonna give this one some more love tonight. And I've got this one, I purchased this bag while at retreat too, and it's a Barefoot Needle Arts bag. Has their little logo there. And it's perfect. It matches my fabric, it matches everything to do with that pattern, and hopefully by the end of the year, that will be an empty bag too. So this coming weekend, I'll be busy. Actually, the next couple of weekends, I had a pattern over there. I've got to get to stitching this week too. Oh, this is Christmas Manor, but I went online at Heart and Hand, and I printed off this freebie. And I'm gonna use this as, I have a finishing class on Friday night, and I want to stitch that piece to take. And so I have those threads, and I'm just going to use some leftover fabric from something else, and that'll be what I work on and off. So I should have a finish and a full finish when I visit with you next on that piece. But there are the colors. So that'll be this week. And then I picked up some fabrics because I have some beautiful grandchildren, and I want to do pillowcases for them. So when they're over, they do have their own little room and their own little play area here, and it's all about them. So my little grandson loves bluey. So I picked up some bluey fabric, and this will be for the cuff of the pillowcase. And then my little Evie, she loves Minnie. So I picked up this fabric and then this fabric for the cuff. And I just got some ribbon just to do the little edging between the cuff and the pillowcase. And so I will not be doing these probably till next month. I just picked those up while I was there, and some interfacings for some cross stitch finishing. But I have I have a retreat next weekend, and then the following weekend I do have plans, but I also have a good friend that's coming to stay, and she's a Flosstuber as well that has not filmed in a few years, and maybe she'll pop in with me. If you're watching this, give it some thought. Okay. All right, let's see what's in the basket. What's in the basket? Some of these looks like it's gonna be kits. Oh, I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can see, and I'm probably gonna need to put this down so that in a minute or throw everything in this chair, but yeah, this is Catherine's Big Heart by Lottie Da. I love Lottie Da. This was not a kit, it's just a pattern. So I have no idea what all I've stuffed in this basket. This is what I will call my COVID basket because that's pretty much what it was. Not leaving the house. What is this one? Liberty Games. Okay. Remember this one. This one was, I think Great Lakes Needle Arts had they would kit something up every few months and offer it to you as a, you kit it up for a discount with them and stitch it. And this is Erica Michaels. And here are all the beautiful colors. You've got DMC and WIPs in there. And I have plenty of fabrics. I've forgotten all about this one. I think, Natasha, didn't you just finish this one? Oop. And this is little needle books. I bought a kit from Celtic Sisters. They had a trunk show at our local stitch group and has everything you need to stitch and finish that. But it's wool, so it's not cross stitch, but if you can cross stitch, you can do buttonhole stitch and finish something like that. Oh my. This is Lila Studios. Let all that you do be done with love. Oh, I forgot about this one. This one needs to go in my this year. This is Heartstring Samplery, Janet Haig Pratt, Small Samplings Collection. I don't even remember where I got this from, but everything's in here, fabric, threads, and floss drops. Maybe I got it off of one of the sampler sites, I don't remember. And then this is an old Liberty silk pack for a Little House Needleworks piece. That one will stitch up really quick. It will be fun to display in a bowl for 4th of July. Maybe we'll get into a WIP. I thought these were mostly WIPs. So here's some leftover fabric. Don't even know what it is. Vintage Country Mocha Fat Quarter. Not sure what it's for. Maybe I bought it when I bought those other pieces. Edinburgh Linen Fat Quarter 36 count cream. Now this I know is from market last year, so this has not been in there a long time. This is Eliza's French Birds 1849 by JBW Designs, and I love her little feminine designs. She's such a sweet lady and her designs are beautiful. And I thought I know there's more colors in it than this, but I had chosen, if I remember correctly, I changed it up a little bit. And then this is on 32 count colonial parchment linen. And it's a fat quarter. I may need to get to that one this year. I think it's so beautiful. Listen at me. Let me do this one. Let me do this one. There's got to be some WIPs in here somewhere. Yeah, I think I'm getting to the WIPs now. Okay. So you got some, oh, this is something I kitted up. I found this magazine at a thrift, not a thrift shop, but an antique shop. And I kitted it up. Or I bought fabric for it. So I got this and a piece of color in cotton. Is it Willow Tea by Color in Cotton? Something tea, but it's for this piece right here. And that's all I have. And I don't even know what this is. It's probably a bag from a shirt from Amazon. Okay. This is a bunny bag that I made for myself when I first started stitching or doing Flosstube. And these are the colors, and I know I changed some of them, but this is a Silver Creek samplings piece, and it's the Lord's Prayer. The Lord is my shepherd. I'm sorry. And I have a small start on this, and I remember pulling this out of my WIP basket, which is much larger, so that I could work on it that year, and I didn't, so maybe this year's the year. So that's so beautiful. Look at that. The blue gray and peach and dark blue. Oh, that's gorgeous. I wonder why I never finished it. I know I purchased it at a retreat hosted by Katrina Boyd, and she would travel and host stitches. And I know she helped me pick out the threads, but I don't know how. I know it was prior to COVID, so it's been in this with me a little while. Notice how things are pre and post COVID now. And this is another bag that I made for myself. This is Dreaming of Daisies, and I'm gonna look at it, but I'm pretty sure I didn't get much done on this. And I was stitching it with my friend Tiffany. And it's on a piece of 32 counts. Beautiful beige. And I don't think I don't have anything on it. I didn't start it at all. I've got my thread list, I've got my threads in here, and I guess it looks like I was gonna do it in DMCs and didn't even start it. I know Tiffany had made a small start on it, and Tiffany, are you even finished with yours yet? We hadn't talked about this in a long time. Kind of sad that didn't get back to it. I'll put this in here. And this is a Kindred, at least a Kindred Stitcher bag. Let's see what's in here. This is a Paulette Stewart freebie. Oh, it's wrinkled to heck and back. 12 Days of Christmas. Isn't that gorgeous though? This is gorgeous. Someone else, these were not my color choices. Someone else chose these colors, and they knocked it out of the park. I just loved it. Loved what they did. And I was kind of mimicking it, and I remember, yeah. So I've got a combination of, and the fabric is 36 count Weeks Dye Work straw. And I'm using some sulky threads that come in a kit for hands-on designs. It was a Christmas series of ornaments she did that year, and I pulled these colors from that, because it come in a little sulky container, the little clear plastic container. So I had those, and the remainder was DMC. So this one I really do want to get to this year, if I can get those stinking wrinkles out, because they're nearly baked in, aren't they? Ooh. Silly girl. I can't even get it to lay straight to fold it up in different places. nose is very itchy. I don't know if you can hear it, but this week my husband has issues with his eye. One of his eyes due to a childhood injury, but anyway, so things in the air can really trouble him. And so we got an air purifier, and we got it in maybe Thursday of this week. But it's humming in the background. It sounds like a small fan. But I'm hoping it does the trick because it's pollen season and my nose is always itchy and coughing, and my eyes, even though I don't have the issues he has, the pollen really bothers my eyes. And as soon as these pine trees let loose of this pollen, which is any day now. The good thing is the rain this time of year is a godsend because it washes that pollen from the air and helps the trees, but it helps us people, us humans too. So what else do I have here? What is this? Oh, I don't have my colors down here. Oh, I was stitching this one. My friend Karen had this one. I think she's finished hers now, haven't you? A Mexican band sampler. She came down, and I have to always say, what's in your bag? Let me see what's in your bag. And actually, this is a spare piece of the fabric, and I'm going to put it with that piece that I need to do this week. And so hers was so beautiful, and I started it. I'm actually further along than I thought. Is this all the way across? So I'm all the way across. So I found my right corner like I like to do. So that's the width and the length. So I went all the way down on one side, and so I need to get back to this one. But this is a Mexican band sampler by Needlework Press. And I remember stitching this. I wanted to stitch it for my son-in-law because this is his heritage. So I need to get back to that too. And this one, let's see. This is in I don't remember who made this. Was it Dot Dot Goose? Yeah, Dot Dot Goose. This is one I'm gonna go take and put in my bag because I had been thinking about this one off and on. And this is my big toe, and it's Disturb Us, Lord. And some of you kitted this up when I brought it out and were stitching along with me. I need to go search that hashtag and see how all of you are doing with it. But this one just, it speaks to me not as just cross stitch. And it's a big piece. But look at that. That's all I've got. So this one, I'm going to stop what I'm doing right now, and I'm going to put it in with the ones I'm currently working on. But look at the threads. Look at that. Just absolutely. And these are all DMC, but you can kind of see the beauty, how beautiful it's going to be. But yeah, this one's definitely going in. It's going to get some lovin's this year. Because if something's pulling to you and calling to you the way that one is to me, I need to work on it. It's one of the few plastic fronted bags. I always worry that my pattern, so I'll put my fabric in the front because I don't want my patterns to stick to this plastic over time and the ink from the page get on the plastic. Because for those of us in the 80s and had Trapper Keepers, if you remember having Trapper Keepers, and they'd always had that slide in the front and the back, this plastic where you could stick papers down in, and if you left like a pretty picture you wanted to see in there, it would discolor and soak in that ink and it would not come off. So this is going to be put to the side. This one is upstairs, and I I think I have the first 6. I know I have the first 6. I might have down to here too. I wish I had known this was in here so I could have brought it down to share with you. This is something else that's calling to me. I don't think he's in here either. He's not. He's upstairs. Christ in Gethsemane. This one really is. I wish I had it down here to share with you. Maybe I'll bring it out for next time because I can't remember the color fabric. It's not this color, but it's a dark brown and it's beautiful. The shading is partial stitches though. I mean, if you remember those when you're stitching these type of designs like the Pollens, things like that, it's partial stitches. This is a beautiful, beautiful piece. This is another one that does call to me from time to time. Or let me, when I say call to me, I think about it. Why haven't you stitched it? You need to pull it out. You need to give it some love. Let's see what's in this one. Oh, Lydia Burgess. I think this is beautiful. And then I pulled the colors. And then I started stitching it. And then I put it down. Okay, so this Just DMC. This is, now this I can kind of understand because there's roses, but this, let me show you what I mean. So this must be a 36 count, and that's as far as I got because I couldn't get over that color. And I don't remember the fabric color, I don't have that in there. But I started it and just, you can see the blue threads. I couldn't get over it. Oh, it's 36 count bramble linen. But actually, I still think she's a pretty girl. But it looks like there's more colors in there than it's showing here. Maybe one more? Yeah, there's 6. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no. She's plain Jane, or plain Lydia. Okay. A couple more. Oh, I got the pretty ones in here. Stuck them in here and they're making me want to stitch them. So this is one. I started at one of the nickel apartment retreat classes I took at Sassy Jack's. And here are the colors. And this is a AC Bluebird sampler. It's a Quaker. And I started it with my retreat mate, Jen. How's your mom and them? Again, didn't stitch on it after retreat. That's a shame. And look at the color difference. Call for colors, but gosh. The rest of this year, when I go to pull out something instead of start with something new, I need to think, there's some beautiful things in those bags up there in that basket. Go pull from that basket. Empty the basket. Another bag I made for myself my first year of Flosstube. This is a Valentine's. I was doing one for each month. I didn't have any bags then, and I have all the bags now. Oh, and this one's upstairs. So this is Susan Rambo's sampler. I was lucky enough to see the actual sampler, and it's in Johnson City at Cross Stitch and Crafts. And I am to the Squirrel, so I'm halfway on it. And I need to pull it out for some love, but it's not calling to me. I had big plans. With changing the names and everything. I changed the colors of to squirrels because the squirrels were like beige and a weird shade of gray beige. I don't even know what you call that. So I guess they're gray squirrels. the tails were white, and we don't have those kind here, so I was going to change it up to match the colors of the ones that run around my backyard wreaking havoc and digging little holes everywhere. Little tree rats. And that's all I've got in the basket. So thanks for going through it with me, because I've pulled out one and I know there's a 3 in here now that I want to get back to at some point this year. So since I'm emptying bags, it's the perfect year to do it, isn't it? So I think that's everything I have. It is. I've got a table full, but that is everything I have to share with you today. I want to thank you all for stopping by to visit with me today, for all your support on me finishing and cheering me on to finish Christmas Manor, because it's absolutely stunning. And I will try my best to do a video next weekend. As I said, I'm going to be at the Nonstop Stitching Retreat Friday, Saturday, and leave on Sunday. And I'm not sure what time I'll get home Sunday. It'll depend on my those that I'm carpooling with and what side trips we make on the way home. So everyone have a great week. Hugs and stitches. Bye-bye.